All right, hello and welcome to the Lumia Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Lumia, and first and foremost, Matthew Stafford ends up with the MVP at this awards. I'm excited to be here, obviously, live reacting. And as far as Stafford is concerned, you definitely can make the case that he obviously earned the award. First in yards, first in touchdowns. Drake May would be the strongest competition, but I think the right guy got the award. And for me, the thing that's super interesting about it, and I was thinking about as the day kind of get closer, well, there's two components. One is that we kind of knew he would win it from being first team All Pro. So when you pay attention to like kind of that stuff and who's the number one quarterback, normally they get the award, obviously. So that part. But two, even when you look at the playoffs and how kind of Stafford has been playing compared to Drake May, pretty happy that Stafford got this. And the fact that if you're going to lose a playoff game, when you just let's just look at the other guys who were nominated, right? Drake May hasn't lost yet. He hasn't looked like an MVP this playoffs. Trevor Lawrence was nominated. Yikes! And Josh Allen had 4 turnovers this season. So Stafford going out there, 300 yards in his last game, 3 touchdowns. Again, led the NFL in yards with 4,700 and touchdowns with 46. So an unbelievable year for Stafford and definitely earned this MVP. Myles Garret, Defensive Player of the Year. He was unanimous. Obviously broke the NFL sack record in a single season, so definitely earned there for Myles Garret. Went out there, was dominant all year. He actually had to sit there through some unfortunate John Hamm jokes about the Browns. But, you know, it's tough for Myles Garret, but he signed the contract, and he is Defensive Player of the Year, which you love that. I don't think it was unanimous, so not really anyone close, which was, really interesting. But Myles Garret, definitely an unbelievable season, sack record. And now you just kind of wonder, he's not going to leave because he just got paid, so it'd be kind of hard for him to do. But now that he's kind of accomplished everything else, you really just want Myles Garret to play for a team that is a contender. JSN, Offensive Player of the Year. Funny enough, wasn't actually in the awards, but JSN, I just watching him, he led the league in receiving yards, and just watching him, I think from start to finish, he was the best in the league in receiving yards. And, of course, couldn't show up to this event because he's preparing for the Super Bowl, but just the different ways they use him, as explosive as he's been all season, going down the field, making huge plays. JSN really was definitely one of the best weapons in the NFL this year and deserving of Offensive Player of the Year. Now, before we get to Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Protector of the Year, all that stuff, I do want to talk about these Hall of Famers real quick. And it's unfortunate that everything got leaked a little early with Belichick and Kraft not making it, because I actually think this Hall of Fame list pretty good. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald, that's a no-doubter, in my opinion. Just watching Larry Fitzgerald, just kind of him and Kurt Warner drag the Cardinals to the Super Bowl, not winning it, but I mean only because it's the Cardinals. That's the only reason they didn't win. Not anything that Larry Fitzgerald did or didn't do. And I don't think that I have to go back. I'm going to stop myself before I make these really, really ridiculous statements, mainly because I'm doing a project in which I learn a lot more about the NFL, but probably, I guess, at Jerry Rice here is the only one you can compare to what Larry Fitzgerald was doing with the Cardinals in that 2008. I was about to say 20, but it wasn't even 2010 yet. 2008 season. Larry Fitzgerald was absolutely unbelievable, making big plays, creating havoc, taking every slant, had a chance to go for a touchdown. Did it to my Eagles, did it in the Super Bowl to the Steelers. Larry Fitzgerald definitely deserves to get it. Luke Kuechly, one of his best plays was the fact that he actually guarded Larry Fitzgerald. I remember on a deep post route, he's running or tried to run 50, 60 yards down the field to guard it. Luke Kuechly was a dog. I think with him, and we'll see what happens soon with Patrick Willis. Is Patrick Willis already in? He's probably already in. But those two, we were worried if they would get in because they kind of retired a little bit early. But Luke Kuechly, definitely deserves to be a Hall of Famer. He was one of the best. Him and, again, Patrick Willis were both vying for that best middle linebacker in the league spot for years on end. I'm so happy that Kuechly got to get in. Adam Vinatieri, I've been waiting for this. Adam Vinatieri should have been in. I don't know if I remember thinking, like, if another thought too, if Devin Hester doesn't get in, no kick returner is ever getting in. And it was that thought of if Adam Vinatieri doesn't get in, I don't care what kicker you have, who is getting in. Clutch kicks in the snow, big moments, Super Bowls, huge in the playoffs. Could argue swung the tide, helped the Colts win a Super Bowl before he was completely washed. So Adam Vinatieri definitely 1,000% deserves to be in. I don't want to call him the best kicker in NFL history because I don't know if that's necessarily true, but he definitely the most impactful kicker in NFL history. And they always say you can't write the story of a league. If you can't write this, those who don't know, if you can't write the story of a league without saying this player's name, then they have to be in the Hall of Fame. Vinatieri is definitely that, just for the tuck rule game, those Super Bowls that he won in late situations. Vinatieri. Drew Brees, I mean, no-brainer. Again, he was right up there with Rodgers and Brady and Manning in that kind of quarterback top 4 ranking. Brees was definitely up there. Interesting. It's going to get interesting now for Big Ben and Eli. Those were kind of Phillip. I don't think Phillip's getting in. Don't know about Eli. I think Big Ben should get in. But for those specific guys, at least I guess you're getting a little closer. But they got to get in soon because here comes Brady. Brady's getting in. And then you don't want to wait too long because then you're going to have to deal with Aaron Rodgers and all these other guys. But Drew Brees, happy that he's in. And Roger Craig. So they do something where players go up, I think, for one last year. And I don't know if this was Roger Craig or not, but I feel like it. Roger Craig, for those who don't know, 80s player for the 49ers, running back, probably was on his last ballot or about to be, but he was the first ever player with 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards. Most people don't remember this, but those 49ers teams, the first 2 Super Bowl teams, did not have Jerry Rice. And I don't think Dwight Clark is quite a Hall of Famer. So I like the fact that you get another skill position Hall of Famer in who isn't Joe Montana from those early years. Now, the one thing that does kind of suck with this is that it's a little clouded by the fact that we know that Belichick and Kraft didn't get in. So a lot of this night has been about who didn't get in. And I'm not going to say, obviously, those guys should be in over Bill Belichick necessarily, but I was really, really interested in who was getting in to the Hall of Fame. And I gotta say, like, I'm happy that it's no one, maybe Roger Craig, but I'm happy that overall you can't really slam any of these players. And that was the one thing about, like, the Hall of Fame thing for me, was that you didn't want anyone to get slammed because they got in over Bill Belichick. But, I mean, universally, again, the Roger Craig thing, we know what that is. And I do think Roger Craig is a Hall of Famer for sure. You know what I mean? Because of how everyone talks about how annoying it was to go up against Roger Craig in those years because of his high knees running style. And obviously, huge for the Bill Walsh system, being able to catch the ball and run it. So, definitely respect to Roger Craig. But those other guys, Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, can't really argue with that. Now, if you want to say Adam Vinatieri, Belichick should have gotten in over Vinatieri, maybe, but the longer Vinatieri waited, the longer he might not have gotten in. Vinatieri's been waiting for a long time. So shout out to those Hall of Famers. Great class. I mean, when you get Larry Fitzgerald, Drew Brees, Luke Kuechly in a class, that is pretty elite stuff. So happy for those guys. They got to celebrate that moment tonight. Well, I guess not tonight, but as I'm watching it tonight, NFL Honors. And for these other awards, Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel. Can't argue it. He couldn't accept the award because he's in the Super Bowl. And he turned the team around from 4 wins to all the way in the Super Bowl. You could argue definitely Mike McDonald. Maybe, probably not, because, again, he had last year where they kind of won 10 games. So that's up there too. Ben Johnson, for sure, was definitely a candidate. And just watching the entire proceedings, Ben Johnson got a lot of shout-outs. You know what I mean? The Bears in general, a lot of love. Puka was out there dancing like a celebrity. For everyone who didn't win an award, Puka, huge winner in this night. But Tet McMillan, he ended up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Interesting, I think Tyler Shuck obviously didn't start enough games, but Tet was one of the better receivers in the league. And it's really interesting that Ibuka kind of fell off the way he did. You would think that that's an Ibuka award with how fast he started, but as the season went on, Tet kept getting better, and Ibuka kept getting forgotten in the offense. I don't even know if it's really an Ibuka kind of fault thing or something he could control, but that definitely was the case. Corey Schlesinger, linebacker for the Browns, he ended up winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. No argument there. He jumped off the film other than obviously Myles Garret. It was Myles Garret and him a lot of the times. Now, the rest of that D-line would go crazy, but Schlesinger is out there making plays, flying around, getting picks, forcing huge interceptions, fumbles, and everything that happens. So Schlesinger huge. And for the first time, Protector of the Year, Joe Thuney. And for the first time, Protector of the Year being in award. Deion Dawkins apparently was pounding the table and arguing for it. So happy that it got in there. Joe Thuney, I like that they gave this award to him. I was gonna point out some unfortunate things if it went to Penei Sewell. So I'm happy that it went to Thuney. That running offense, one of the best ones in the league. He went from the Chiefs to help turn around a Bears offensive line that wasn't good last season. So for him to go there and have that impact as a guard is crazy. And we saw what they did running the football. So again, NFL honors. Hopefully that's a good wrap for you guys. Your MVP, Stafford, and all the other awards. So shout out to everyone who got an award. Still excited. We're going to be coming at you guys Saturday around noon with the NFL Super Bowl preview. I'm excited for that one and other things we have coming up on the channel that I don't want to spoil. So I'll see you guys there. Hopefully you enjoyed, and catch you on the flip side.